The Cat and the Mouse in Partnership. In a tiny cottage with a mossy roof lived Fritz the cat and Liesel the mouse. They were not like other cats and mice. They were the very best of friends, sharing every crumb and every sunbeam. Together, they had made their little house a home. Fritz used his strength to move twigs for the fire, and Liesel used her nimble paws to weave soft beds from cotton grass. "We make a good team," Liesel would squeak happily. One autumn afternoon, as a cool wind rattled the window pane, Fritz stretched his paws and said wisely, "Dear Liesel, the leaves are turning gold. Winter is coming, and we must be prepared." Liesel paused from her task of sorting sunflower seeds. "You are right, Fritz," she said. "A harsh winter means hungry bellies. I have an idea. We should buy a pot of rich, creamy fat. It will keep us warm and full when the snow falls." The next morning, they set off for the market, a tiny coin purse tied around Liesel's waist. The town was bustling with activity, but the two friends walked together, their minds set on their important task. At the market, they found just what they were looking for, a large clay pot filled to the brim with smooth yellow fat. It smelled delicious. "This is perfect," said Fritz, paying the shopkeeper their single coin. Back in their cottage, they faced a new problem: where to hide their treasure. "Under the floorboards?" suggested Liesel. "No," said Fritz, shaking his head. "I have a better, safer idea. We will hide it in the church, under the altar. No one would dare steal from such a holy place." It was hard work for the two of them. Fritz pushed the heavy pot with his head and shoulders, while Liesel guided it from the front, her little whiskers twitching with effort as they made their way to the quiet church. Inside the cool, silent church, they carefully slid the pot into the dark space beneath the altar. "There," whispered Fritz, dusting off his paws. "Our winter feast is safe." They returned home, feeling very pleased with their day's work. But a few days later, Fritz could not get the thought of the fat out of his mind. He imagined its creamy texture and savory taste. His stomach rumbled, and a sly, greedy thought began to form in his head. He went to Liesel with a very serious face. "Dear friend," he said, "I have just received news. My cousin has a new baby kitten, and she has asked me to be the godfather. I simply must go to the christening today." Liesel, who was kind and trusting, smiled. "Of course, Fritz, go and have a wonderful time." But Fritz did not go to any christening. He had no cousin with a new baby. He trotted straight to the church, his paws silent on the stone floor, his heart thumping with wicked excitement. He crept to the altar, pulled out the pot, and dipped his head inside. He lapped and licked until the entire top layer of the delicious fat was gone. "Mmm," he purred, wiping his whiskers. When he arrived home, Liesel asked, "How was the christening? What did they name the baby?" Fritz stretched lazily and replied, "A fine name. They called him Top-Off." Liesel tilted her head. "Top-Off? What a peculiar name." Not long after, Fritz's craving returned, stronger than before. The memory of the fat was a constant torment. He knew he had to have more. He sighed dramatically to get Liesel's attention. "Liesel," he announced, "it is the most amazing thing. I must be a godfather again. This new baby has a white ring around its neck, a most distinguished feature, so I cannot refuse." Liesel looked at him. "Again, so soon?" But she was a good friend, so she nodded and let him go. Fritz hurried back to the church, his mouth watering. This time, he did not just lick the top. He ate and ate until half of the entire pot of fat was gone. "Nothing tastes as good as a secret treat," he purred, his belly full and round. "And what is this child's name?" Liesel asked upon his return. "Half gone," Fritz stated. Liesel gasped. "Half gone? Fritz, I have never heard such a name in my entire life. Are you quite sure?" Fritz just shrugged and began to wash his face. Soon, the thought of the remaining fat was all Fritz could think about. His greed was a monster that had grown too big to control. He had to finish it. He had to have it all. All good things come in threes, he told Liesel, trying to sound cheerful. I am to be godfather one last time to a little black kitten with white paws. Liesel shook her head slowly. Top Off and Half Gone are such strange names, she said quietly. This all feels very strange, but she did not stop him from leaving. The greedy cat ran to the church, his paws thudding in his haste. He did not stop until he had scraped the pot clean, eating every last, tiny, delicious bit of fat. When it is all eaten, one can finally rest, he sighed, patting his very full stomach. Winter finally arrived, fierce and cold. A thick blanket of snow covered the world, and there was no food to be found anywhere. The friends shivered in their cottage, their pantry completely bare. Come, Fritz, said Liesel, her voice full of hope. It is time. Let's go get our pot of fat. It will taste so good. They journeyed through the deep snow to the church, but when they looked under the altar, they found the pot empty and clean. Liesel stared at the empty pot, and then at Fritz's guilty face. Her eyes grew wide with a terrible understanding. Oh, she gasped. Now I see. Top Off, Half Gone, and the third child, his name was All Gone. You ate it all, Fritz. You lied to me. Be quiet, hissed Fritz, his friendship forgotten, his face twisted with fury at being discovered. One more word, and I will eat you too. But poor Liesel was so heartbroken, she could only whisper, All gone. In a flash, the cat sprang upon the little mouse and swallowed her whole. And that, sadly, is sometimes the way of the world.